here in Hindustan Times, who is covering the government, covering the Bharatiya Janata Party, and she's going to give us the lowdown of what's happening there. Smriti, can we have Smriti on stage with us, on screen with us? Then we also joined by PKD Nambiar, political analyst, and we have Major General S.B.S. Thana. In the meantime, Mr. Nambiar, why don't we hear from you?
Good morning and very happy Independence Day to all of you in the panel and also to the whole countrymen. I believe that there can't be a better day. And as you said rightly, Aditi, you really woke up all of us in the early morning. And I think to hear what we all look up to in the 15th of August from the Prime Minister of India. And this Prime Minister, for an example, have been a little different from the routine. It is not like a typical speeches. From his first speech, if you really recall, that has become like a movement in India, which is the Clean India, or which has created millions and millions of toilets. Which I remember that in the first time when he gave his speech, everybody was just talking about, is that what we expect from a Prime Minister who will speak on 15th of August, that too from the Red Fort, who will be talking about the toilets? But I think he has always differentiated. He spoke from the more of like the people's core issues, which is related to anything and everything. And we expect something more to happen even today, which may be not just for a rhetoric per se, but more than that, we expect that to be for the next 25 years. What will be the roadmap for this country, which will make this nation as the number one in every aspect? So I would rather say that it should be like Ma Saraswati ka naam aisa har Bharatiya ka हाथ में पड़े और सिर पे पड़े. Every individual, 100% illiterate country in the world, maybe we become the number one. We have a veteran army person on the panel. We become the number one force in the world, so that there is nobody in this whole universe who could look up to, or I mean, before they look up, they hazaron bar kam se kam soche. I think we wanted to become an economic superpower. We are now in the top fifth largest economy in the world, but I think the time has come for us to aim much ahead. And it is difficult, but I think if you have a strong leadership, and if you have such a large, diverse society, a large consumer base, everything in a country like India is possible. And I can only say that I think we always hear from all the politicians across the world, हमारा तो सोना चुरा के लेके गया, ब्रिटिशों ने लेके गया, the मुगलों लेके गया, and etc. But I believe that
come a long way from there.
Correct. But I believe that this is the time that we need to take more of like we need to pledge ourselves that we will get almost all those gold in the form of gold medals to this country, to make this gold medal into this country in the form of the sports, and the youngsters needs to be given such kind of an importance. So I think this Independence Day may be a resolve to become a new India in every aspect, wherein everybody have the real freedom, which is not only just the freedom which the Constitution gives us, but also an economic freedom, a freedom wherein everybody feels empowered. Every Indian is an empowered Indian. I think that's what's my initial remark going to be.
Okay, wonderful. Smriti, have we got your voice back with us? Oh no, Smriti's voice is an issue. I'm going to ask Nambiar.
Yeah, well, I think you're right that health has always been one of the area where we could have done much better, because even if you really look at it, that many places, and I'm not saying that all the places, there are many states, for an example, UP or a Bihar or some of these Bimaru states, which we still have the tag. They all lack the basic facilities of the basic health infrastructure available for the common man. But in the meantime, it is also true that we have even one of the finest medical infrastructure, which is world class. very cost effective from the international perspective. And you will find, whether you go to Bangalore or people like us, we are living in Delhi, you will find a large number of international patients who are traveling to India from a high quality but yet very comparatively cost effective health solutions. I think we have been a pharma capital for the world for a longest of time. Now the time has come for us to reinvent ourselves. It's the
Right.
land where the Sushruta was the first surgeon of the world, or the first, in a way, the great Saint Sushruta was born. This is the only land where more than 5 to 7 odd a complete medicine system. Whether it is Ayurveda, we have an Ayush ministry which is called as, even though some people call it as like a complementing therapies, especially the modern medicine people, but they're all been a complete medicine in itself. Like for an example, Ayurveda, yoga. It was not, and we are the only country, as a civilization, we were never treating ourselves only for your health, but also by to your soul or a mind. So in a way, we are a holistic. We always had a holistic approach for the health. I think if the prime minister is going to make a call something like that, it will definitely create a bigger, more infrastructure, giving. We still consider to be one of the our overall the budgetary allocation for the health has been always been very low. After this government and the Modi ji came in, there it has improved year after year. The large number of aims and the best facilities have come up. But I think I have much more to do in this sector. Some of the southern states, for an example, the state which I hails from in Kerala or in Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, etc., have done much better as compared to the other parts of the our country. So, if this kind of a call, so there are times his opponents and the people who oppose Mr. Narendra Modi, they
Yeah.
keep giving a statement that it's all rhetoric. But then these rhetoric or
Let me
these
let
kind of
me
a
just stop
statement,
you. I think those are live visuals of the
okay.
Prime Minister's cavalcade arriving at the. So he's flanked by the General Officer Commanding. He's of course
See, look at the
inspecting the
body
guard.
language of the prime minister. This is what we
Yeah.
all been. See, I think a true leader from like in marketing, which I practice as a business, I would say that we say that what is that you expect from a leader? A leader who leads. The body language of Narendra Modi as a prime minister is something which really gives a huge amount of motivation to the whole countryman. So it gives that strength in his as he walks, as he talks to the people. So it's basically gives some kind of a strength to each one when he moves around. And he is the only prime minister in India. I am not, with all due respect to all those people who served and led us, but then he is his prime ministership is a defining moment, both from the point of view of his each initiative, also taking, like for an example, Har Ghar Tiranga, which you said, Aditi. Har Ghar
Yeah.
Tiranga is just a slogan from that point of view. But if you really look at it, yesterday I was in a couple of places. The amount of energy which it has created, that single call, and we never had a leader, especially in the era of social media and the digital world, a one call of a prime minister, irrespective of people who likes him, people who hates him, people who are in ambivalence, they all are, by directly or indirectly, taking his call and implementing it on the ground. So you find
Hmm.
every house today is having a tiranga. It's like so it's a complete motivation is what he gives. He's a package of motivation, and I think
Package
I'm
of
sure that
motivation. I'm going to stop you there for a minute, PKD. You talked about his body language, but then one thing that I think we being in the visual media, we'd also like to talk about every year is his headgear, because he changes his
yeah.
headgear every Independence Day. You want to talk about his headgear this time? Asking you because you talked about your marketing consultant
So look at that.
credential.
See, in his headgear this year, is completely off the tiranga. It's like it has got the tricolor embedded in it. So I think the minute way he does, even his dressing here, his appearances, does really make a lot of messaging. I mean, there are times you don't have to do a direct messaging. I remember that if you really look at it, all his previous 7 or 8 address to the nation on this on from the Red Fort, every year you would have seen him having a different kind of a headgear. That
Mhm.
also, so today, of course, this is 75 years of Azadi, and he is the one who had given us the message of Har Ghar Tiranga, and it is reflecting in his headgear. So it's not, he's generally not only just talks, and but he walks the talk. So that's makes him different. I'm sure that I'm not going to be a andhbakt today, but I'm just telling you because that's what
No,
we are all
let
seeing
me
it.
get in. Let me get in, Smriti, at this point. Smriti, what are you hearing? I mean, there are a lot of firsts. This every year there are a lot of firsts in have been at least, and especially the last 2 years because of COVID.
See, as I said that I was telling you earlier also that 75 years we have done great, but have we done enough? That may not be true. That we have a long way to go, we have miles to achieve, and we have to really march ahead to achieve those goals by at least in the next 25 years. So what? But one thing you have been seeing it in the last 7 8 years, that it's not only just from the point of view of symbolism, but the power is not just now lying in front of, in the courtyard of a couple of people, or people can just go and do a PR exercise to get a Padma award, or
Okay,
that Padma
okay.
Shris, or so in a way that the people with whom you and me sitting in a Delhi or in a panel discussions don't even understand the real
I
India.
Yeah,
Narendra
I'm just
Modi
going
has
to
been
ask.
able.
I'm sorry to cut